Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Tuesday, September the 12th, 2017. My name is Doug McKay. I am the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses for the day. We do create multiple hypotheses. We do not know what the market's going to do, but we create a plan for the possibilities of each hypothesis, and then have the plan ready to execute best which suits the market. Yesterday happened to be Hypo 3, and we'll get into that in just a minute. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website, there's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. We do this live here in the go-to session each morning, and then we do live trading and analysis during the course of the trading. There are over 650 days of these pre-market sessions, so you can get a good idea what we do each morning. And then during the RTH session, we do live trading and analysis. Please follow me on YouTube and on Twitter, and don't be afraid to call me or contact me if you've got more information. So just before we get going, got to do the disclaimer. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purpose only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. So taking a look at yesterday. We were talking about this week. I wasn't expecting it to happen. That's why it was Hypo 3 rather than Hypo 1, was the equalization between the two all-time highs. This is a phenomenon that you can back test and look at, but when you have an all-time high put in on one contract and we roll over, the next contract will generally go and equalize those two highs and test them. And we had a September contract high at 88.50. December contract was I don't know why it's got 87.50. It was actually 86.75. It must have got moved there. And we went up and hit 87 in the RTH session, but overnight we've gone and hit the 88.50. Now we have a very similar situation where in the Globex we have an all-time high at 24.91, and our all-time high in the RTH is 87. So this acts the same as what we were talking about in the September to December contract. It now happens within the Globex and the RTH. The RTH session at some point in time will go up and hit that 24.91 to equalize the high between the Globex all-time high and the RTH all-time high that was put in yesterday at 87. It was a gap and go day. We did not even fill the gap. We opened with the open test drive. We went right up into that 82 area and just went sideways, then went up and took out that daily ATR. Our key line in the sand, we talked about this yesterday afternoon in the room when I came back, is the fact that that 80.50 was the prior all-time high, and that became our key line in the sand. Anything above that, you wanted to start looking for the move into the daily average true range up, and continuation up into those contracts. And we've got a P-shaped profile. We do have a significant LVN here, but let's just step back, take a look at the news. We have news coming out in 5 minutes. We've got the Red Book year over year, month over month. 10 o'clock will be the big one, though, today with the JOLTS jobs. 11:30, these are all Eastern times, by the way, for the visitors today. 4-week bill auction, 52-week bill auction, and then we've got the 10-year note at 1 o'clock. And then we've got API weekly crude oil, which we're not sure when it is going to come out. But other than that, that's about the news for the day. Now, each day I like to take a look at the market macro and micro. The way I do this is I use my 9 EMA, 20 SMA, simple candlestick chart, and we're looking for patterns We're looking for continuation, slope and separation of these two. And you can see I start with a month, work my way down. We've got great slope and separation on the monthly. Price is paralleling the 9 nicely. We just went in and put a new all-time high. Remember, we have that inverted head and shoulders. So I just want to go back to show this. So we talked about this yesterday morning. I talked about it last week as well. And we were talking about the fact that we've got this inverted head and shoulder, and the primary target on this head and shoulder is 25.10.75. So that puts us into the 2500s and takes out the rule of 10. Whenever you hit a centennial number for the first time, has a tendency to push through. After a pullback, it'll push through to the rule of 10 and go and hit that 25.10. And then the extended target on it is 25.33. We broke above the right rim yesterday. I'm sorry, the right rim, the right neckline, and pushed up, and we got as high as 91. Didn't quite get to the 38.2 extension, our first target, but we'll see what happens today. So this pattern is still very much in play, giving us projected moves into the 2500. Going to the weekly, we had this inside bar on the weekly. We had this beautiful, nice, strong trend, good slope, good separation. We talked about on the Monday of this week, the inside Mr. Sneaky, likely get a technical gap, fill that technical gap, come down to 9, test the 9. We pushed all the way down to the 20, and we failed to close below the 20, got back above the 9. Now we get our continuation pattern, and we go and took care of that unequalized high from September at 24.8850. Going to the daily, you can see that, let me just get rid of the open interest here. You can see that we're back to the continuation pattern, near all-time highs. You've got good slope and separation on the daily. The trend is still very much up. Same thing with the intraday as we move down. Good slope, good separation. There is this technical gap that we're creating, but you can see price is starting to parallel the 9 again. I believe that we'll probably fill this with time and price. Excuse me for 1 second. Sorry about that. So the trend is very much intact. We don't even start to challenge the trend on the 4-hour now until we get down to the 24.8250 area. Going to the 1 hour, same thing, but you can see that we did close the technical gap here, and we're seeing some lack of slope and separation. So we are losing steam a bit on this upward movement. 30-minute, you can see close below the 9 and coming down and testing the 20. 15-minute, and we've got the break below the 9 and the 20. I want to look here for a second. I want to see if there's, I know we left a naked cross down here. I have a naked cross down at 24.73.75, and that is on the 15-minute. Just want to go back once quickly to the 30-minute. I forgot to mark these down this morning. There's no naked crosses there. And then the 1 hour, none there. And so let's just go to the 5-minute. You can see that break on the 15 is accelerating on the 5. We're getting good slope and separation. We're getting a pullback. This is going to be natural. In fact, let's go to the composite chart. So you can see that, just a little bit of narration for those that are here. We create from May through to July. We create this balance. We accept value at the microcomposite VPOC at 24.33. We break out on the 12th, and then we accept value just above the value area high. Then we get the continuation move up, the price discovery up. We balance there for 3 days at the 24.50 56. It was 57.50 on the September contract, and then we get the continuation move, and they accept value higher. They put in the old new. It was the all-time high at the time on the September contract was 24.80.50. 24.78.75 on the December contract, and then they fail. They break out of that value, come down. Where did they come down to? The last place that they accepted value before the continuation. Then the late buyers step in. They come up and they accept that level again, and then they put in the other all-time high, which was the 88.50 in September, 86.75 in December. And then the last place they tried to hold value was up here at the 72. They come back down. They don't stop at the 86.50. They come right back to the last place they accepted value. Before the bigger breakout, they actually come down to the VPOC, accept value back where they accepted it on the first breakout, and then they gap up, they come up, and they're unable to hold that 72 area again. Where did they come? And we said if they don't hold value, look for them to come back down. And where did they come back? Back into the balance area, and came right through the value area. Found buyers again, started to weigh up, accepted value again at that breakout area, and then continued up, came up, tried to hold the 72s again. They couldn't. They come back down. They come almost all the way down to the new price acceptance at the 41, come back, create value back inside of the micro composite, and then they gap up with the breakout. And now we go into new all-time highs. Now, okay, we're back into price discovery. So two things we're going to be looking for today is, one, we're going to be looking for a retrace to the 50% of the significant breakout candle, which is this candle from yesterday, or possibility of continuation and the equalization of the Globex high that was put in last night at 91 versus the RTH high, all-time high at 24.87. But there's only going to be really two scenarios, and that's balance and accepting price after the breakout, and a pullback to the what is the 50%? The 50% of the significant breakout candle is at 88. So we'd be looking for a pullback to the 88 if we don't get another gap and go, and balance. Just as we did, every time we break out of value, we go up and we create these balance areas. We have to accept value, okay, or we continue the price discovery. I doubt that you're going to see a pullback towards the gap zone, but it is a possibility, so we'll have that as one of our hypos. Key areas to pay attention to, obviously, is the high at 87, the naked VPOC below us at 85.50, and the significant, the 50% of the significant breakout candle at 88, and then 78 is going to be my over underline, because that puts us back inside of the prior micro composite, and then I'd be looking for a move down below that towards the gap zone. And our half gap, where was our half gap yesterday? Our half gap is all the way down at 67.75. So taking a look at the overnight inventory, you can see that we opened auction, inside the range, just inside a range, went down to the VPOC, found the buyers, tried to go and break out, failed to hold the breakout, came back down again, had your higher low, and then we based, and then we pushed up into the 88, put a new all-time high in at the 88.75, taking out that prior all-time high at 88.50, and then we rotate back down. They come down back into the balance area of the P-shaped profile, base again, and then we continue. and we go up and test that high again, fail one tick lower, come back to the VWAP in the midpoint and the range high from the prior day, and then went back into price discovery, put in a new all-time high, higher low, and pushed into the 91. Now we've come back and we've come all the way back to the midpoint and the VWAP, and we're starting to base again. So we're going to be opening, if we open in this area, we're going to be opening just outside of range. You can see we've got a double distribution here with the LVN at the 88 and a quarter. So that is basically just above the range. So I'm going to use that as a trade area. We're going to put in the new all-time high, 91. And it is a Globex all-time high. Oh, I can't type today. All right, and then there's nothing really to guide us except we've got that that inverted head and shoulder at 1050. And what was the first what was the first? It was 97. So we've got the 97 as a target. That's going to be our main target above right now today. Oh. Okay, I keep doing that. All right, so then the other level we want to pay attention to is this LVN right here at 83. And then the 8050, which is a significant breakout candle. This was a trend day, so the value area really doesn't mean much to me today. And then our overnight high is 91, which is our Globex all-time high. Our overnight low is 85, which is basically our naked close. Our close was 85 and a quarter. And our overnight VPOC is not likely going to shift. It's 89. And those are all the levels that I need from that. So let's just expand this so we can look at the bigger picture. All right, so we've got the 78. And okay, our daily full session 20 period average true range is running at 1859, so off of 91. Our downside daily ATR target is all the way down at 7250, one tick in front of the naked close. And off of the low overnight of 85, our upside daily ATR target is going to be 24, 85, 18, 59, 2503.50. So we have range capability on an average 20 period daily ATR to hit the 2500s today. All right, so let's do our hypos. So we're going to be opening just outside of range. I'm looking for a balanced day. So my main hypothesis is going to be an open auction out of range, seeing responsive sellers stepping in, rotating down into the naked close and the naked VPOC, taking out the overnight low, pushing down into the 80 area, and somewhere between 80 and 83, I'm looking for buyers to step back in, come up, and take out that overnight high and equalize the Globex all-time high with the RTH all-time high, and basically go sideways and create balance and close somewhere back inside of yesterday's range. That is my hypo 1. Hypo 2, I'm going to flip today, and I'm going to go with a open drive. We did hypo 3 as an open drive yesterday, but I'm going to be looking for a possibility of a gap and go. By the way, half gap fill right now, if you open up at 89, it's not a huge gap. That's why I'm thinking we'll close the gap. The half gap fill is at 87, so a test of the range high. So closes the range gap, but an actual half gap fill for the gap. So hypo 2 is an open drive gap and go, failure to close the gap, come down and test either an open test drive down to 87 for the half gap, or just a straight drive and a push up into new all-time highs, come up and chop around in the mid 90 levels, hit that first target on the inverted head and shoulder, and then push up and try to come up into the 2500s. Whether we actually get into the 2500 or not, I'm not sure, but we do have range capabilities to get up into the 250350. But I'm looking for a balancing day, either just above the range from yesterday or just inside. So hypo 3 will be an open auction out of range, take out the overnight high, find responsive sellers, rotate us down into the 85, chop around here, get a late day push down into the 78 to 79 area, find a base, and come up and close somewhere inside of the prior range close to this 85. That is my hypo 3. And then hypo 4 is a push to try to close the gap that we created yesterday. So a failure day, failure to hold above the prior day range, come in, come down to the 80, chop around in here, and then fail, push down into the open from yesterday at 74.50, and then chop and fight the low, and then get a late day probe down into the half gap fill area, possibly even close the range gap down here at 65, and then closing somewhere back in this gap, or coming up and just closing inside of the prior day range. So those are my 4 main hypotheses. I put equal weight to hypo 1 and hypo 2, but I don't expect a huge amount of range today, even if we do get hypo 2, which is a gap and go. I think it's going to be basically come up and balance and fight the high, and then come back and close somewhere near or inside of the upper distribution from yesterday. So those are my 4 main hypotheses for ES. Take a quick look at gold. Gold, we were talking about the average pullback on a move like this was between what? 38 and 43. We're now 35. We did not hold this 30. We're fighting it right now, but we pushed through almost to that CLVN. If we do not hold this 30 today, the idea is to come down to the last place they accepted value before the continuation, and the new fractal high up here at 1362.50. So key level to watch is this 30. If they can't hold it, look for them to come down and test the low overnight and push through to the 23, and then start finding a base down here. And that will put us roughly around the 38 to 43 area that we're looking for a pullback. If we can accept this value at 30, look for them to come up and challenge the range, the microcomposite value area low at 1335 and a key significant level. Anything inside of this, look for them to come back up and test this 3890 area. I think that you're going to see gold trying to base down here and likely going to have to come down a little bit lower before we actually find the buyers that we're looking for. Maybe even a trip through this value area down to 15, but definitely a test down into the 23 area if we can't hold this 30 today. So that's going to complete our pre-market session. Again, I'm going to be trading till about noon my time. I've got my system up and running now. Hopefully it stays up and running. For guests that are in here, I had a major flood in my basement. I'm dealing with that mess. As always, trade well, trade safe, and I'll catch you on the flip side. I'll close the room down and get the recording to put up on YouTube, and then I'll open the room for the members. If anybody that's in for guests is interested in checking us out, send me an email at thatquantumleapfutures@gmail.com. Have a good day, everyone.